Hello everybody, welcome back to the Gear 426 channel. Here we are yet again doing another truck video because I was supposed to do a bug video today, but somebody decided to go ahead and leave some parts on a table about 2 hours away. So now we're doing a truck video. We've already done all the suspension bushings on the rear. Now we're doing all the ones on the front. Most of the ones on the front, just the lower control arms. The upper control arms were replaced about 3-ish years ago. The bushings on those are perfectly fine, and yeah, I'm just not going to do them right now. But the lower control arms are absolutely destroyed. So we need to go ahead and remove them and replace them with new ones. I'm pretty sure that's actually where all of my suspension noise is coming from. I get this really bad like metal on metal sound every time I go over a speed bump, and I'm pretty sure it's because of my lower control arms. So first we need to go ahead, jack the vehicle up. This is getting really annoying last time when I was editing. Put jack stands underneath it. And take the tires off. And then go from there. So I just discovered that the wheel bearing is completely out on this thing, so I'm gonna have to get a new hub for it. Do that for a different video, not this video. I have a bunch of wheel bearing stuff coming soon. The bug needs new ones. Apparently this one needs a new one right here, because I could move it without even a tire on it. So yeah, not good. But that's not what we're here for today's video, so let's just go ahead and resume what we're supposed to do. Right now, all the spring tension with this giant depth spring is held on by this upper control arm. Best way to go ahead to detach all this so we can get this lower control arm out is we have to get rid of all the tension on that spring and actually take it out. So first we need to go ahead and remove the shocks and disconnect our sway bar from the lower control arm. You don't have to take the sway bar links out. I honestly think that's just one extra bolt of work. You just go ahead and undo the top one and it'll be fine. Then we'll take our jack, we'll put it underneath the lower control arm, jack it up a little bit to get the tension off of the upper control arm. Then we will be disconnecting the ball joint right down here below, and that should free it up to where we could go ahead and bring our control arm down, undo the 2 bolts that hold the control arm in, and then we can start pushing out our old rubber and putting in our nice new polyurethane. So this is a 16 millimeter. Yeah, I probably need to replace these too, but we're not dealing with that right now. And all the way up there is our shock. It is a 15 up top. Of course, this might be a little bit of a bitch. So I got both of the upper shocks done. They were kind of a little bit of a pain in the butt. I still have to go ahead and get the lower mount, which is super easy. If you go all the way down here, you'll see that there are these 2 bolts. And I believe that they are, yes, they are 10 millimeters. So 2 10 millimeters and the whole shock will drop out of the bottom. I've never had that happen before. Okay, so I just learned a lesson. Apparently my impact unscrewed the shock and now I need to go buy a new one. I've never had this happen before, but now I need to go get new shocks. Yay. And now, on to the next side. Please, the next one don't blow up on me. Can't believe I just goofed like that. I've never had that happen. This one's fine. And I needed new shocks anyways. These are freaking shot. I can't believe I never noticed that these are out. Alright, so now we could go ahead and undo this castle nut right here. And I do have spares of these, but you can reuse them. I don't really recommend it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get my jack and put it right here so we can go ahead and get some of the spring tension off of this upper control arm. Now we could go ahead and undo this guy. I have no idea what size it is, and they always vary. So for this truck, this one is a 24. They vary because, you know, it depends on what you get. Okay, so a trick that I learned a long time ago, to go ahead and bust these loose, you want to hit this part right here with a good size hammer and it will just poof, right on out. I also want to go ahead and turn this so I can get a way better hit on it. There we go. Sometimes these are kind of a pain in the butt to get all the way out. I'm gonna go ahead and jack this up a little bit, see if we could get just a little bit more out. That'd be a no. This one's a 22 millimeter. I'm gonna try something to get a little bit more room. I'm gonna see if I take this bump stop off on the upper control arm. Will that give me enough room to just slide this out, have it to take more apart? I cannot find any of the correct frickin' tools to do any of this crap right now, and this is annoying the shit out of me. Hey! There we go. That was a bitch. Alright, now out getting this disgusting grease everywhere because the seal sucks. I need to go ahead and replace like most of these. That's a different video. Now we need to go ahead and let this jack down slowly to take off spring tension on this thing and hopefully not die. Yes, I have done this before, like exactly like this. It's not that bad. Man, these are shot. I need to order a lot more off Amazon than I thought I did. Look, the big scary spring is out, and this thing is all kinds of just weird up in there. Now, we can take this control arm out. Alright, so hopefully this guy right here isn't too much of the way to stop this bolt from coming out. I think I'll be able to get it out. I'll just move the whole rack that way a little bit. And I noticed something a little weird. This one is the T55, just like the leaf springs. But on the back here, it looks like a 15 millimeter. So that's interesting, but you know, we'll make it work. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with this back one right here. And it is a 18 millimeter on this side. And I believe it is a 15 millimeter on the other side. Yes, it is. So just loose the rod up. Alright, that's one bolt done. Now we need to go ahead and do the front one. The front one is completely different sizes and I gotta figure out what they are. Okay, so on this front one, right here is a 21 millimeter. I think I could get in it with my breaker bar. And on the front side is a T55. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go to the steering wheel and push this entire thing that way. That should hopefully give me just enough room right here. Oh yeah, that'll definitely give me enough room. Now let's go ahead and try to break this guy loose. Come on, other side. So yeah, we got the first control arm out. Which good timing because there's a guy with a leaf blower heading on over here. So now you can just go ahead and film and not have to talk at all on the other one. And then we'll start pushing out all the rubber on these. Now that the leaf blower convention is gone, I do have new parts on the way that I wanted to order from Amazon because they were like half as much from Amazon versus my parts store. I'm just going to be in a little bit of a pickle time-wise. Not going to affect when this video comes out though. We're still going to do all this stuff. That'll just be another video. This one is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that guy at all. This guy is probably my suspension noise. It's bad. And looking at these bushings, that one's blown out. This one's not that bad. That one's destroyed. This one's really nasty. That's probably a suspension sound that I'm hearing because it's completely blown out. Yeah, look at that. That is definitely contact right there. So these are completely destroyed. So now we're going to go ahead and pull all these apart and put in our nice and new polyurethane ones from Energy Suspension. Yay! Thankfully, I learned a lot from last time, so I know that I can just go ahead and heat this up and it makes my life way easier. One thing as well that you guys should definitely know is do not push out the sleeves on these. You need to reuse the sleeves on these. It'll say it in the directions for the Energy Suspension bushings. I forgot how much of a pain in the ass this was. Yeah, this thing is blown out bad. Cool, well that's 1 out of 4. I got 3 more. Sweet. This one's not as bad, but still shitty. Yep, that one's trashed. Now I can go ahead and get the new bushings. I'm missing stuff. These install way easier than you would think they would. That's one control arm with a really bad sway bar link down. This is going way easier than the last one was, and sorry that my camera's moving around a little bit, it's just kind of sitting on the rail. Now that all that's done, I just have to go ahead and clean up the frame, bolt these guys back in, put everything back together for the most part. I'm waiting on a couple of parts to get here, but that will pretty much conclude this video. So let's go ahead and slap these guys in. Now we could go ahead and put the spring back in place and bolt all this back together, and then we'll just do the other side as well. Something to keep in mind is if you look right here at this tang, there's a spot on this control arm that it goes into. It'll actually have 2 holes where it's supposed to end up. It'll fit in there. You'll know when it's in right. Just keep that in mind. Just don't throw this in and be like, oh, why is it all sitting weird? There's a certain way it goes. Okay, my battery's about to die. I need to change out the battery of my GoPro and then start the other side. I'm not bolting the sway bar end link in yet because I want to go ahead and have the other side installed first to have it come through. It's just way easier to do it that way. And yes, I will be replacing them along with the shocks, just not today, like next video. So I let this sit in the sun for a little while to get nice and hot so it's really flexible in hopes that I could get some of its shape back. But we're gonna go ahead and slap the spring back in now. I just need to go run up to my apartment real quick and grab some Carter pins. I'm only installing this one shock so I at least have something, because it's going to be a little while till those new ones get in. I don't feel like going to the parts store, and well, it just so happens that I'm crazy. By the way guys, if you haven't checked out the video where I did the rear on this truck, I'll go ahead and put a thing up below where we installed polyurethane bushings from Energy Suspension on all the rear leaves. So go check that out if you haven't. Okay, so I changed my mind on the shocks. I actually managed to get the other one together. Cool. And I installed it on the other side just to have something there for right now, because it's gonna be about a week until I get the new shocks here. So need to make it last at least that long. Thankfully, I don't put any more than maybe 100 miles a week on this truck, maybe 120 tops. So shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's not like the diesel Beetle right here where I put close to 700 on it a week. But now we could go ahead and put the tires back on, and man, my hair's a mess. I also really need to like clean these wheels in my truck, and I honestly just need to wash all of my freaking cars right now. Okay, so the truck is now back together. It's definitely driving a lot better. One thing I do want to mention is whenever you mess with suspension, you have to go ahead and get a alignment redone on the truck. It's just something you have to do whenever you mess with any of the suspension, especially on the front. On the rear, it kind of depends. On my Bug, wouldn't matter. On my 350Z, it does matter. On this truck, it's a straight axle. There's no adjustment. You can't do anything for the alignment. But when messing with the front end, completely different story. I will say it's not doing that weird steering thing anymore. I used to be able to pull out of right here and go that way, and I could go full lock on my steering wheel, and it's supposed to just, you know, steer itself out, and it wouldn't do that. It would just stay there. Now it's actually not doing it anymore, and I could tell it drives just a little bit different. So that's awesome. I'm really excited about that. I'm pretty sure I need to get an alignment though, but there's still more things that need to be done to the truck first to go ahead and for me to justify an alignment. I still need to go ahead and get the shocks. The shocks are on their way along with the sway bar links. And I discovered there were some missing parts in my energy suspension kit that I got from Amazon, which is really important. I went in, I called the guys from Energy Suspension to go ahead and get those missing parts. They were super cool. They're sending them to me. Everything's all good, but they did let me know to never order from Amazon, to just order directly from them or Summit Racing, because Amazon, they tend to ship out stuff that has missing parts. I was aware of this. The first kit that I got for the rear was fine. The front, well, it was missing the sleeves for the upper control arms that go inside of the bushing. So I kind of lucked out. Thankfully, I had everything I needed to do to lower control arms. So yeah. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and get a big thumbs up. If you're stopping by for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next one.